NASCAR's Warriors, or better known as X-Men 43, are ready to make a final stand tonight in Charlotte.
There have always been moments when the course of history shifted. Such a turning point is upon us now.
It's a tale of NASCAR's best of the best.
In here, with her.
NASCAR's Warriors are fearless.
Make no mistake, my brothers. The humans will draw first blood.
Powerful and unstoppable.
Fury that this world has never witnessed.
And they possess guts, heart,
Sometimes when you cage the beast gets angry.
and superior skill.
They have their weapons. We have ours.
Tonight it's all in the stars as these X-Men make an all-star stand next in Charlotte.
Nothing can stop us.
NASCAR and FX are glad to have you a part of our All-Star Night here at Lowe's Motor Speedway with Jeff Hammond, Chris Myers, and America's Watching Live. The best drivers in the world competing here tonight. Jeff, not only are we going to meet the drivers, but special introductions to their entire pit crews, the guys that do all the work behind the scenes.
Oh, man, it's going to be a great night. Every time you come to the All-Star Weekend, what do you feel, Chris? Electricity, excitement. But again, we always talk about it. What's tonight all about, folks? The presidents. You know, Ben Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, it's the money.
I'm also feeling raindrops, and hopefully we'll get the NEXTEL All-Star Challenge in. A special performer in Carolina. Fans know him well here in the great state of North Carolina.
That's right.
Pro Bowl wide receiver. They played in the championship game. Steve Smith is here tonight to watch the race. He knows all about All-Stars. Hey, Steve. How you doing?
Great to have you tonight.
Say hi to some of the folks enjoying the race. Also later performing.
Yep, the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I mean, it's really going to be exciting.
We're glad to have you along. Let's throw it upstairs to Mike Joy, who will introduce the drivers and their teams.
Thanks, Chris, and hello, everybody. 18 drivers who qualified last night who earned their way into the NEXTEL All-Star Challenge will be joined by NEXTEL Open winner Scott Riggs and by one special driver that you voted into the show. Starting 18th, driver of the UAW Dodge Dealers Dodge in his 7th All-Star appearance, Jeremy Mayfield. And with Jeremy, his Ray Evernham team, led by a first-time NEXTEL Challenge crew chief, Chris Andrews. Starting 17th, the first rookie to win the All-Star Challenge. It happened in 2000 for the driver of the Budweiser Chevy, Dale Earnhardt Jr. His Budweiser crew is led by Junior's cousin, Tony Uri Jr. Starting 16th, the 1998 and 2005 Challenge winner making his 17th start. He's in the AAA Ford Fusion, Mark Martin. And here's last year's All-Star Challenge winning crew from Roush Racing, led by Pat Tryson. Starting 15th in his second All-Star event. He won here in his second Cup start in 2002. Driving the Irwin Industrial Tools Ford, Jamie McMurray. And here's Jamie's Roush Racing crew, led by a four-time NEXTEL Cup race winner, Bob Osborne. Starting 14th, the first driver to win the challenge by advancing from the open. He did it in 1996. He drives the Napa Dodge, Michael Waltrip. And here's the number 55 Bill Davis Racing crew, led by new crew chief Joe Shear Jr. Starting 13th and making his second All-Star Challenge appearance is the driver of the Office Depot Ford, Carl Edwards. And here's Carl's Roush Racing crew, led by recently appointed crew chief Wally Brown. Starting 12th is the 1999 NEXTEL Cup champion, who has finished twice, a second twice in the All-Star Challenge. He drives the UPS Ford, Dale Jarrett. And here's Dale's Robert Yates Racing crew, led by interim crew chief Jason Burdett. Starting 11th will be the 2000 NEXTEL Cup champion. He's in his 12th All-Star Challenge. Driving the Go-Gurt Dodge for Richard Petty, here's Bobby Labonte. And here's the team that'll support Bobby for car 43, led by the 1999 championship crew chief, Todd Perrin. Starting 10th, the Series 2005 Rookie of the Year, making his first All-Star Challenge in the Kellogg Chevrolet, Kyle Busch. And here's the crew that took Kyle to 2 wins in his rookie season, led by Alan Gustafson. Starting 9th in his 6th All-Star Challenge, driving the GM Goodwrench Chevrolet, Kevin Harvick. And here's his Richard Childress Racing crew, led by the crew chief that helped Harvick win the 2001 Busch Series Championship, Todd Barrier. Starting 8th in his 8th straight All-Star Challenge, 2-time and defending NEXTEL Cup champion, driving the Home Depot Chevrolet, Tony Stewart. And here's his defending Cup championship pit crew, led by Greg Zipadelli. Starting 7th, the 2003 NEXTEL Cup champion and winner of the 2004 All-Star Challenge. In the DeWalt Power Tools Ford, Matt Kenseth. And here are the Roush Racing Killer Bees, the 2001 and 2 Pit Crew champions, led by Robbie Reiser. Starting 6th, the National Guard Charter Ford. In his 3rd challenge, last week's winner at Darlington, number 16, Greg Biffle. And here's his Roush Racing team, led by the 1980 championship-winning crew chief, Doug Richards. Starting 5th and driving the All-Tel Dodge, winner of the challenge in his first appearance in his rookie year 2002, Ryan Newman. And here's his Penske Racing team, led by a crew chief who has 12 wins and 35 poles with Ryan, Matt Borland. Starting 4th, 3-time All-Star Challenge winner in the DuPont Chevrolet, Jeff Gordon. And leading the Hendrick Motorsports team in his first time in the All-Star Challenge, crew chief Steve Letarte. Starting 3rd and competing in his 5th All-Star Challenge, runner-up in 2003. Now he drives the Miller Lite Dodge, Kurt Busch. Here's his Penske Racing crew, led by a crew chief who had 6 wins and 9 starts in 2005. That's Roy McCauley. Let's move to the front row. Starting 2nd, the 2003 Challenge winner. In his 5th straight All-Star Challenge, he drives the Lowe Chevrolet, Jimmy Johnson. And leading a Hendrick Motorsports team that has won the last 4 point races at Lowe's Motor Speedway, Chad Knaus. Starting on the pole in his 3rd All-Star Challenge, his first career pole in the challenge in the Dodge dealers UAW Dodge, Casey Kane. With him, the 2005 NEXTEL Pit Crew Challenge winning team, runners-up this year, led by team director Kenny Francis. From the front row, let's move to the back row. And starting 19th, the NEXTEL Open winner, appearing in his first All-Star Challenge, Scott Riggs. And here's Scott's Evernham Motorsports crew, led by a crew chief who came to this team with Scott, Rodney Childers. And finally, in the 20th position, who did you vote into the NEXTEL All-Star Challenge? This will be his 11th start in this event. He's not been in it since 1999. He finished second in 1992. Would you welcome your choice, Kyle Petty? Raising over $250,000 for his Victory Junction Gang Camp with his appearance in the challenge, thanks to your vote. And here's Kyle's Petty Enterprises crew, led by 1992 NEXTEL Cup championship winning crew chief, Paul Andrews.
And let's take a moment to welcome the band, the #1 album in the country, in the world, Stadium Arcadium, Warner Brothers recording artists, the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Come on out, give a round of applause. And they're going to present a commemorative guitar signed by the entire band, presented by the band, and it goes to the NEXTEL Open fan vote winner. Got the pose? All right, we've got Anthony, Michael, Chad, John, Flea, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers will be performing. This is Flea, by the way, all right?
Hey,
okay.
he's really having a
We
great
have
time.
to flee, but you're going to perform some music for the All-Star crowd tonight. Thanks for your donation. Stick around. You're watching NASCAR on FX. We're getting ready to go racing. But first, a performance from the Red Hot Chili Peppers in just a moment, live just outside Charlotte, North Carolina.
All right. Woo!
They're clearing away the pre-race stage and scraping up what's left of the costumers' efforts for Ryan Newman's team. A little bit of the highlights of driver introductions, and there'll be a low light or two like this. Look at everybody out of the way.
That's incredible.
They just let him hit the ground.
And then they just looked at him, left him laying there.
And Kyle Petty, thanks to your votes, moves into the NEXTEL All-Star Challenge tonight and gets a nice check for Victory Junction Gang Camp.
That shot with Kyle puts it all in perspective right there. That's what it's all about.
How about last year's winner? He's with Dick Berggren.
Well, I'm with Jeff Gordon. He is a three-time winner at this event, more than anybody else in tonight's field. What's it going to take to win tonight?
Well, you know, I think we learned a little bit from watching the Open. Obviously, track position is really important. You got to have a good race car. You know, that's bottom line always when it comes to this All-Star event. But, you know, I think our DuPont Performance Alliance car is really strong, and I'm looking forward. Yeah, I'm glad we're starting up front, but just looking forward to everything, you know, including this pit crew and on that green flag stop and having that shootout at the end. That's probably the most important part, be there at the end.
Be safe. Good luck. Matty?
Mark Martin's won 2, trying for his 3rd here tonight. So what is the game plan? You've won 2 of them.
Well, we're starting here in the back, but our AAA team has given me a great forward-to-drive fusion here, and you know, we'll wait and see. The track was so hot and slick yesterday when we practiced. I don't think that anybody knows what they have for setup. We chased the setup around in that greasy hot sun yesterday, and we're taking a guess tonight. So I'm going to be moving up as fast as I can. I'm going to make every effort to do everything I can and hope that inversion goes my way and hope that we're in the front when it's over.
And you don't like when people try to play with the inversion.
The real men try to win every segment.
There you go. Mark Martin going for his 3rd All-Star win tonight. Steve?
Thanks, Matt. This is hometown for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Grew up right down the road, still lives in this state, and you won this event in 2000. It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it's an awesome race. It's really an honor, I guess, as a driver to be in this race, and they do a good job of putting it on here in Charlotte. I think it's been a lot of fun to be in it. It's been a lot of fun as a kid to grow up and watch it. Seen a lot of great memories.
Thanks, Dale. Good luck. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
With Jimmy Johnson starting on the outside of the front row. Hammer down tonight?
Absolutely. I think I need to make it through the first few laps just to see what's going to take place. My teammate Brian Vickers is pretty loose, so I'm expecting to be loose, but hopefully things come to me.
All right, good luck to you.
Thanks, Dick. It sounds like drivers who had a teammate in the Open would have a little bit of an edge when the green flag drops in this one.
It sounds like the cars go through about 3 changes in a hurry. First off, they start off real loose. So they try to tighten the car up where the drivers can hang on to it for a couple of laps. Then it goes through a neutral stage. Then it gets too tight and you got a front end push. That seems to be the stages.
But what I picked up on Mark Martin, remember Mark Martin didn't have a teammate in that open, but what he realized, you better get it, and you better get it early.
Scott Riggs led all but one lap in the open. We are set to go with Stock Car Racing's All-Star Night. And we're about to go trackside for opening ceremonies as 20 of America's best await the chance to try and win $1 million. Who will it be? From Casey Kane back to Kyle Petty. 20 drivers set to do their best. And now, let's go trackside for tonight's opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now ask you to please rise and remove your hats as the U.S. Naval Weapons Station's Color Guard, Charleston, South Carolina, presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Pat Monahan of Train performs our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, in the home of the brave.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pat Monahan of Train with our national anthem.
A patriotic send-off for 20 drivers. Set to see who is the brightest of all stars and who goes home with $1 million. Come to a Nextel Cup race and experience Nextel Fan View. Listen in on the teams, chart your driver's progress, see video from Nextel Vision and queue up your replays, serial scoring, points as of now, and lots more. To learn more about it, go to foxsports.com/NextelFanView. Kurt Busch getting ready to go. Here's our KFC recap of the evening so far. Rain, a little more rain. And then we got to run the Nextel Open in 2 segments. Scott Riggs the winner. And you voted Kyle Petty into the All-Star Challenge for the 11th appearance. 20 cars at the go. Casey Kane, Jimmy Johnson to start up front.
I think that's a big plus, certainly in his first 40 laps here, to see what's going to happen. We saw Scott Riggs just take off and kind of leave everybody in his dust in the open, so I think that's a big plus starting on pole.
Good thing about it, we talked about it a long time ago this evening. You have that 10-minute pit stop to have a little consultation, think about what you want to do to that car, get her ready for those final 2 segments.
I didn't like that. We always, me and Hammond always seem to figure out a way to mess up our car. Too much time. Too much time.
Last minute adjustments for comfort. Then the window nets will go up. and will get the command. Let's go trackside for the command.
Ladies and gentlemen, here to give the command to start the NASCAR Nextel All-Star Challenge. Please welcome the band with the #1 album in the world, Stadium Arcadium, Warner Brothers recording artist, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Gentlemen,
start your engine!
Now that was cool.
You need to mark that one right there.
That was way cool.
4-part harmony.
That's all-star.
Have you ever?
No, I've never.
We now return you to our regular programming. The race, it's coming next.
Case closed, everyone knows I'm the best at what I do, so you better never doze. I rock your bows and frozen seas. There ain't no track, no room to breathe, ain't no replacing me. Stop chasing me, not knowing how to act when you facing me. Oh, you wanna roll with me? Ride shotgun? Lil' Gun, do you got one to drop, son?
Like a brightly lit jewel in the night sky just north of Charlotte, Lowe's Motor Speedway beckons 20 of America's best to see who's the brightest star on this night and knock down $1 million. Let's go down to our Ford Fusion cutaway car. Chris and Jeff.
And Mike, a different format, segments of 40, 30, and 20 to complete the race. Jeff, will probably see most changes after 40, and what changes are allowed in this format?
Well, it's a normal, you can do on a normal pit stop, Chris. You can make an adjustment to your track bar. In this case, both sides, because you'll have a few minutes to do that. You can take spring rubbers in and out, but you can't change the spring. And you can also, if the car's not too bad as far as heat, you can add a little tape to the front end, or as always, the dreaded wedge wrench. You'll be using that bad boy tonight, making some serious adjustments to get these cars tuned in.
A number of the drivers backstage said, we expect the unexpected. What we do know is we'll have a wild finish. Mike?
Thanks, Chris. Once again, let's recap the Sprint Nextel starting lineup for this race with Casey Kane and Jimmy Johnson on the front row. And as you look at that, we'll drop down to pit road and Steve Burns.
Mike, Lowe's Motor Speedway has been Jimmy Johnson's house. He's won the last 4 points races, 5 of the last 6, led nearly 900 laps. He has an all-star win here. He's starting on the front row, but we have new pavement here. We have tires with a harder compound, and Jimmy Johnson says he just doesn't know if he has the same mastery, the same feel on this racetrack that he has had for the last events here at this 1.5-mile track. Matt?
Steve, back in 1999, Tony Stewart won the Winston Open at that time, then transferred into the Big Money Show, finishing second. Now that's been his best finish in NASCAR's All-Star event, and he knows all about performing when it's All-Star time. And the shootout for pole winners, he's won that twice, but he's never won this event. He'd love to add that to his racing resume, but if you look at his stats, the one thing that stands out is survival, or not surviving, because he's crashing 3 of the 7 events that he's competed in. So he told me tonight the biggest thing is survive and then go for the big money. That's the game plan for tonight. To Dick Berggren.
I just talked to several of the crew chiefs whose cars are starting up front, and they said, after watching the Nextel Open tonight, the old strategy, the old playbook is out. You're not liable to see somebody come in toward the end of the race, fire 4 fresh tires on it, and try to pass everybody and go up to the front. Hammer down, wide open, all night long. That's the strategy for tonight, and isn't that just the way it ought to be on a Saturday night at the stock car races, Mike?
That's the way this sport was built. Saturday night, short track, go for broke racing, and there's still a lot of it to be seen around the country. And here's segment 1. 40 laps, including cautions, mandatory 4-tire green flag stop within specified laps, all restarts double file. We like that. And the leader at the end of this segment gets $75,000, but most importantly, they're going to invert part of the field.
Yeah, at least 6, maybe up to 12. So the guys in the back, they may want to stay in the back.
But $75,000 just to win this little 40-lap race.
Yeah, 50 per second.
How about our FedEx racetracks, Larry?
Well, it's all-star race. It's about all the stars on every race team. I think every person on these teams are going to play a role in this. You talked about it, that solid green flag pit stop there. 4 tires in segment 1, no mistakes, especially by the driver. Last year, a lot of drivers got burned speeding on that pit stop. Segment 2, get all you can get, but remember, you've got to finish that segment if you want to move into that final 20 laps. Don't use your stuff up there. And there it is. You get that final pit stop there with 20 to go. You better make the right decision, whether it's fuel, tires, or whatever adjustments.
For more information, including DW's hotspots, log on to foxsports.com, keyword FedEx. Pole sitter Casey Kane brings them down the back straightaway, 20 cars. Now Casey's already knocked down $50,000 for winning the pole. Jimmy Johnson 10 grand, Kurt Busch 5,000. And Scott Riggs has 53,000 plus in the bank for winning the Nextel Open. But 90 laps away, there's $1 million.
And we've got a lot of fast race cars at the back of this field. Remember, qualifying wasn't about who ran a fast lap. It was about 3 laps, including a 4-tire stop. You're going to see a lot of cars coming from the rear of the field.
Got to remember something. There's a lot to be gained here, but you don't want to do something here tonight that's stupid. And $1 million will make you do something stupid. So you got to watch out.
DW, like Mike and Dick said, it's Saturday night. In honor of you being the inaugural winner of this thing 21 years ago, reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go all-star racing, boys.
Jeff Gordon skittered out of turn 2, lost a bit of momentum, and he's under attack. Biffle, Stewart, and Kenseth after him.
Boy, I tell you, oh, here we go, got a car. Oh, he almost went around. Who was that, Biffle?
Yes.
Yeah, he came off turn 4, dirt tracking.
Greg Biffle in the 16 car.
Only Greg Biffle could save that car. That thing was gone, baby.
They started stacking up behind him when that happened.
And that allowed the front 4 to break away.
You got to see this again. This is my gosh, it's a great save. There he is, right kind of in the middle of the picture. Gets that thing sideways. I'm shaking. I bet he thought it was gone.
And look at the move his teammate Matt Kenseth made in that 17 car, as well as Tony Stewart.
Tony did a great job of staying off of him.
But Kenseth just lost the 5th place to Stewart. Here comes Johnson for the lead.
Boy, he got a good run down in the bottom of turn 1 and 2. He'll win the drag race down the back straightaway. He's going to take the lead in that 48 car.
You know, one of the things that the guys told me after the truck race last night, when the sun goes down, the grip really picks up on this new pavement.
At his house, Jimmy Johnson leads.
Boy, I tell you, when that 48 car drives by you like that, that's bad news for everybody else.
And yesterday, Jimmy said he couldn't find the handle on the car.
Listen, they had a terrible test over here. Didn't know what they were going to do.
He didn't have to tell us. We could see it.
Now they know.
Now these cars, remember I told you, they go through about 3 really quick changes here. Loose to start like we saw Biffle. Kind of get neutral, then they pick up a lot of push in the front end.
Johnson, Kane, and Kurt Busch have distanced themselves from Ryan Newman and the rest of this field.
And just remember, in about 9 to 12 laps, we've got that mandatory green flag 4-tire stop.
And that is going to be treacherous, Larry. You got the cars bunched up. You got to come in. Man, you don't want to get run over from behind.
And with the small fuel cell, you're going to have to put fuel in it. You can't go 40 laps on 13.5 gallons of fuel.
So a 3-car breakaway. Then Newman with Stewart, Kenseth, and Biffle.
We got Tony Stewart in that 20 car. He's all over the back of Ryan Newman in the 12. That's a battle for 4th down the back straightaway.
I think if I'm out there right now, I'm thinking I got to get on pit road here in a few laps, and I got to get on there and not speed. Here comes Tony by Ryan.
But I'm going to tell you what, he was sideways just a few laps ago. Look at Greg Biffle in the 16 car. He's already made his way back up there.
It comes to you. It takes 3 or 4 laps, comes to you. Then it gets real good.
Look at him be able to turn that car right to the bottom underneath Ryan Newman.
These hard tires, you just got to get heat in them. Once you do, buddy, they hook up and you can set sail.
And that's what Greg Biffle's doing right now.
He's got a long way to go and a short time to get there.
Kenseth working on Newman. And takes 6th place, gives it right back. Goes after it again. Kyle Busch with him.
Newman got way up the hill that time in the 12 car. Newman possibly will lose the position to Kyle Busch in the 5 as well.
If you overdrive the corners, you're going to slide up the hill.
Often drivers who run the Open have a bit of an edge because they know what that racetrack's like. Scott Riggs is using that experience to good advantage. He started 19th in the number 10 Valvoline car. He's up to 12th.
Now remember, the invert for the second segment is going to be somewhere between 6 and 12. Right now, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car, he would be out of the invert. He's in 13th position. He needs to get another position to be possibly in that invert 6 to 12.
And you can't tell me, I know Mark Martin said real men win every segment, but smart men play the odds.
But some men want the $75,000 you get if you're the leader at the end of these 30 laps.
It's all about that second segment, because then where you're going to start at the end in the last 20.
Bobby Labonte, the Gogurt Dodge, Kevin Harvick, the Goodwrench Chevy following him through.
I'd say Ryan Newman in that 12 is going to get more than tires and fuel on this pit stop. He needs some adjusting. He continues to lose a lot of positions.
Just remember, Larry, these guys, I tell you, if you're not very good, you're thinking 12th. That's what you're thinking.
And it's not just Newman. His Penske Racing teammate, Kurt Busch, though still in 3rd place, he's fallen way back out of touch with the leaders and into that second pack. Jamie McMurray, Mark Martin, teammates at Roush Racing. Martin in the 6th, last year's winner.
Battle for 14th right here between these teammates. Boy, Mark got such a good run. He got. You can see that coming right there. I don't know that he touched him, but when you make that kind of a run like that.
Looks like what happened here last year when Tony Stewart got a big run off of turn 4, got in the back.
We got a flat left front, bud. Flat.
Jamie McMurray has had such a heartbreak of a season, trying to get things going with his new team, Roush Racing, a change of crew chiefs. They're trying to get all the cars like the ones that Bob Osborne had with Carl Edwards and had so much success with. And they came in here, another driver that yesterday having trouble finding the handling of the car. And tonight, well, this is a little different.
But Darrell, you're running this fast. When you run up behind somebody like that
and bump them,
it definitely did get into it, but you could almost start to see the car get a little bit loose right there when you run up on him that fast. But he definitely did get into it. And then he gets into the outside wall.
Light contact, but nonetheless, it did a lot of damage to the car.
So the Irwin Tools Ford comes to pit road. It's the only car on pit road. And once again, it's turn 4. Calamity Corner.
Now remember, the pit stop we've been talking about, it has to be under green. It cannot happen under a caution. So we're going to have to get back started under green before that pit stop can happen for 4 tires and fuel.
Drop the green and I'm coming in next time back.
The NEXTEL Open and All-Star Challenge on FX is sponsored by Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR, and proud sponsor of Dale Earnhardt Jr. and the number 8 car. And that is the number 8 car. Seems to be pitting here. We're under caution with Jimmy Johnson, the leader. Why are they pitting here? That's not within the rules.
It looks to me like they're making an adjustment on the race car right now, Larry. It looks like they pulled a spring rubber out, which will help speed up the pit stop when they do come in.
2 things, Jeff. You're on one of them right there. Make the adjustment now because you can do it a lot easier now in the caution. But what I also see, and they're dumping that fuel in. That way when they make that green flag stop, they don't have to deal with the fuel. They can actually use 7 guys just to change the 4 tires.
5 drivers stopped.
Smart.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kyle Petty, Michael Waltrip, Dale Jarrett, and Carl Edwards.
I mean, if you're at the back of the field, come in and get all that work done, and now in your next one you got to pit under green, you're going to spend a whole lot less time in the pits.
Well, Jimmy Johnson, the leader, followed by Casey Kane and Kurt Busch. Let's take a moment for the Ford bold move of the race. Lap 2, Greg Biffle, Jeff.
Yeah, coming off a
makes
turn
a nice
here.
save.
Watch this car get plumped sideways right there. Jumps out from underneath him. He saves it, but his teammate, Matt Kenseth, makes a great move along with Tony Stewart. A great bold move right there by that Ford driver.
Casey Kane started on the pole. First lead change, Jimmy Johnson. First caution, Jamie McMurray.
Chris, during that last pit stop right there of Dale Earnhardt Jr., I looked up pit road and I noticed the 55 car was steaming. I'm just wondering if he had too much tape on the front of this car at the start of the race, but he needed to come down and do some work because he may have a problem right there, guys.
That's serious right there, Jeff. I mean, that's not just a little bit overheating. That's hot.
Jeff, they definitely have a lot of tape on the nose of that race car, and he's been back in traffic this entire race.
Yeah, well, they took some of it off when he came in. So
that's good.
And Michael had fallen to 20th
about that tape thing
at that time. So we're getting set for the restart. Double file restart. Your leader's Jimmy Johnson. Johnson led at the end of the first segment last year, went on to finish 5th.
Now they have to take the green flag on the racetrack, and then they have 3 laps to make that 4-tire green flag pit stop. Every car out there has to do it.
Now I'd come to to take the green this time. I'm coming next time by. But the problem is, look at all these cars wadded up here. Trying to get on pit road in the middle of all this could be big, boys.
Every driver has a separation of 1 pit to the next car in the race, so nobody should get blocked in coming or going.
Yeah, I'm just worried about getting on pit road right now with this cluster we got here.
And you have to be down to 45 miles per hour. Last year we saw so many drivers busted on the pit road speed, either coming in or leaving.
And a couple of last night in qualifying. Our DLP Camerama showing you the restart.
Nice shot.
But you're right, DW. When they're 2 by 2 by 2 like that going through turn 1 and 2, it's going to be tough. Look at Tony Stewart, the 20 car sticking his nose up there. Going to be hard to get the pit road that way, though.
All right, let's see what happens here. I mean, you can't stop in the middle of. I can't stop in front of all this traffic. You've got 3 laps to get us sorted out.
Here comes Jimmy Johnson. Kurt Busch almost run over him. Here they go.
Yeah, that had to happen.
All about the pit stop right here.
That had to happen.
No caution yet as Riggs gets right way around and gets going. No caution flag.
2 cars pitted. Jimmy Johnson, the 48, Matt Kenseth in the 17. Now these other cars, they have 2 laps to get on pit road.
Steve.
You see the 17 on pit road and the 9 on the racetrack. The 48 of Jimmy Johnson on pit road. No changes. The 17 is away. Jimmy Johnson said the car is a little bit free, but obviously I like it a lot.
And here come 8 more onto pit road, and what a tough break for Scott Riggs. He's cut down a right front tire and he's limping toward the pits.
The cars that did not pit that time looks like Tony Stewart, Greg Biffle, Kevin Harvick. They did not pit.
Dale Jr. stays out.
So they'll have to come this time, and Scott Riggs is going to be right in the entrance of pit road. He's going to mess up Tony Stewart in the 20.
Pat?
And they've already completed a chassis adjustment on the 2 of Busch. His car a little on the tight side, and it was a tight condition as well for Casey Kane in the 9. They were going to fix his car with wedge.
Penalty. Too fast entering. And who was it?
48.
Jimmy Johnson, the 48 car.
And then, you know, in his defense, I'm not surprised. He's trying to get on pit road without getting run over.
Now his penalty will be a drive-through as you see him following Dale Earnhardt Jr. down pit road at 45 miles per hour, Steve.
And Larry Mack, I just want to add to what Darrell said. That is precisely what Jimmy Johnson said. He said, I almost got run over. I had to get on pit road fast.
The last driver to pit.
You probably couldn't have had a worst case scenario. You got to make a pit stop, and you're in that window where it had to be made.
Dale Jr. in and out. And I believe he's the last driver to make his pit stop.
He was in earlier.
It looks like to me, though, Kyle Busch in the 5 car will be leading this race. Jimmy Johnson at the tail end of the lead lap, just in front of the leader.
Now watch what happens here. Here's Jimmy. He's got a car right on his back bumper. He's trying to get down out of the way.
And Mark Martin gets in the back of Riggs.
Mark ran into the back of Riggs.
Look at Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's going to have to go out through the grass in the 8 car. And it looks like after all this has shaken out, Tony Stewart in the 20 is going to be second right now.
Go high, go high, go high.
Can't go high now. Can't go high now.
Yellow,
I'm committed.
No yellow, no yellow.
When you're already committed to the bottom, you can't just turn it back to the right. In theory, it sounds good. Try to do it.
There's the leader right there, Kyle Busch. And Mike, we've been talking for the last month. What a great job Alan Gustafson and this pit crew's been doing on pit road. And they get Kyle Busch off first during those green flag stops with no mistake. But I think the difference with Tony Stewart back in second was he couldn't get on pit road because of Scott Riggs and the 10 being there.
I don't think Kyle Busch's car is all that great either. He just come off turn 4 sideways.
Well, he ran a 30.01. Tony Stewart just ran a 29.66.
Yeah, the car is really, really loose, and Tony is visibly closing the gap.
Kyle Busch and Scott Riggs are the only first-timers in the All-Star race this year.
And as noted, not too far behind Tony in the 20 comes Biffle in the 16, and he's coming in a hurry.
With his teammate Matt Kenseth in the 17.
With a friend.
And a teammate.
So all 20 drivers still on the lead lap, except Scott Riggs, who cut down a tire after going around off the bumper of Mark Martin.
Yeah, Darrell, at this rate, Tony Stewart will catch Kyle Busch probably in about a lap and a half. He's beating him a half a second a lap right now.
Yeah, he's really beating him off the corner. Oh, there's a car high and turned.
Kurt Busch.
Yeah, there you go.
Jeff Gordon got underneath him to make the pass.
Forced him up.
Yep. Oh, Carl Edwards almost lost it coming off turn 4. As he and Bobby Labonte were side by side.
Turn 4 is just,
wow.
It's just a handful off of turn 4. And we used to blame it on the humpy bumps. We always thought turn 4, they made it that way. And I mean, this joint's been resurfaced and it's still a handful.
Now let's update you on Jimmy Johnson, the 48 car, the pit road speeding penalty. He is pulling away from our leaders. He needs to go 50 more laps. Remember, we'll get a caution. He'll be just fine.
He's pulling away from our leaders at about 2/10 to better, or 3/10 a lap.
Now he could use a caution because remember they're only going to invert 6 to 12 cars for the second segment.
And if he gets a caution, he comes around and they restart double file. He can't be any worse than 10th when they restart because it's 10 inside, 10 outside.
Well, if he wins this race, he's going to do it the hard way. He got himself in a hole by speeding, getting on pit road. Now he's got to dig himself out.
And how many times have we seen that with the 48 car?
Well, I can remember the first time when he had a shot at winning the 600 over here, and he slid through his pit box leading the race.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But they're pretty darn good at overcoming adversity.
And his teammates coming. 5th place, Jeff Gordon in the DuPont 24.
Boy, Matt Kenseth just said, go ahead, Jeff.
I'm going to tell you what, looks like the tires have come in on that 5 car, Kyle Busch, because now he's actually pulling away from Stewart a little bit.
The NEXTEL All-Star Challenge on FX is sponsored by Visa. Go on, live life. And remember, no matter what it takes, life takes Visa. Kyle Busch out in front of Tony Stewart. With Greg Biffle, Jeff Gordon, Matt Kenseth, Kevin Harvick, Casey Kane, Carl Edwards. And there goes Edwards past Scott Riggs, who cut down a right front tire and fell a lap down.
Yeah, it's a shame. Scotty was running good, and he's still running pretty darn good, even with the damage he's got.
And Carl Edwards is in the 8th position right now. We've got 8 laps to go, and we don't want to talk about a transfer spot right now. It looks like Kurt Busch in the 2 has a problem. Matt Yoakum.
He's been saying for about 3 or 4 laps that the car, the engine is tightening up, and then we're starting to fill up in the cockpit with smoke.
Well, the caution is out. Let me tell you who is grinning from ear to ear. Jimmy Johnson in the 48 car. He'll be back. Still on the lead lap, but he'll be back behind the pack now.
4 down Lowe over here, neighbor.
Busch trying to keep the car on the bottom of the racetrack. And then down to the 8th.
Starting to get tight. Yeah, 10-4, about 2 laps going.
Now, this was about to get really interesting between Tony Stewart, Greg Biffle, Jeff Gordon. Those 3 cars, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, were very close together. Now, not working in Scott Riggs' favor is the fact that there is no free pass tonight. All of the lucky dogs are fast asleep.
The lucky dog, there was one on that caution. I want to say it again, Jimmy Johnson in that 48 car, because he had drove away from our leaders. There he is right there, and he's still on the lead lap.
And this is after the tires now are good.
Over here on the back stretch.
I thought it was raining. I thought I saw some raindrops there a minute ago.
Yeah, you had to go and mention that, did you, Jimmy?
Oh, yeah.
And of course, what the 48 car's goal would be before we get to that end of that first segment is try to get to the top 12, knowing that somewhere between 6 and 12 cars will be inverted for the second segment as the 2 car makes that dreaded turn to the garage area.
Man, it's coming down.
So Kyle Busch in his first All-Star appearance is your leader. 4 cars hit pit road. Waltrip, Earnhardt, Mayfield, and Johnson.
All cars that were well out of the top 12.
Pit road is open. What are they stopping for? Wipers? Defroster?
The 19 car is under the hood. We're seeing a tire change on the 55 car as well as the 8 car.
I think they're just trying to get work done, Mike. Get more done now, and then that's just less you got to do when you get to the break.
Still under caution. NASCAR saying that they still have enough heat in the asphalt to race as a bit of rain comes down. Stock car racing's all-star night. Yeah, it's a little damp. It is raining again here in Concord, North Carolina. The cars have been halted under the red flag. A little shower blowing through here. Taping up the cowl intakes. Undoing the helmets and the hoses and covering the cars up briefly, we hope.
Now, we're 6 laps away from what would be the end of the first segment right now with Kyle Busch leading. As we've talked about, a lot of differences in rules. You can actually work on your cars here under the red flag, and that could be good news for some of these cars. You can see right there they're working on Scott Riggs' car, the 10 car. Now remember, he is a lap down.
Yeah, and Mike, you know, when the 48 and some of the others 8, some of them came on pit road a while ago, you said, why would he be doing that now? I believe they're trying to get a set of tires on the car, run them 4 or 5 laps, get some heat in those tires. We've heard every driver complain about being loose on when they change tires. Now they got a set of tires on, got 3 or 4 laps on them, tighten the car up, be good to go.
Well, Steve, you saw how bad Kyle Busch was when they changed their tires, so I bet he would maybe agree with that strategy.
Let's find out, Larry Mack. Kyle Busch just got out of the race car. Now, we heard you say that it was good to start, then it went loose, and then it went tight. Did you find the same thing last night when you won the truck race, or is it different?
Yeah, the same thing happened with us last night through the tire run, but it was nowhere near as dramatic. You know, we started out about a 2 tight, and then it went about a 2 loose, and then now it's about a 3 tight. So it's kind of going back and forth across the board. But, you know, last night I never got past a 1 tight to a 1 loose to back to a 1 tight. So I don't know what it is, but, you know, the Kellogg Chevrolet's handling pretty good right now. We were starting to pull back away from those guys, but they're just killing us in the beginning of the run. We got to work on something in order to make ourselves better, because we only got to run another 30 and then a 20-lap segment, so we got to get going in the beginning.
I was watching the truck race last night on Speed. Could you explain the significance of Rowdy Busch on the door frame?
Yeah, the significance of that was all about the number 51. You know, our primary truck is number 15 with Kyle Kristoloff and Ditech.com over there. So they wanted to come out with a second truck for myself to run a couple races again this year, and, you know, we just reversed the numbers 51. And I told corporate image, Frank Bolter over there, that we needed to make some Rowdy Burns a look-alike there. So we put the 51 on it just like it, and, you know, the red stripe down the side, and put Rowdy Busch on the roof just as a little play.
By the way, great style points during driver intros, you and the team. That was very nice.
Yeah, that was awesome. Rick Pigeon came up with that one. That was pretty funny. He's our stunt coordinator now, so the Jack man there. It was kind of cool. I think we might have won the award there for that, but we need to win the big award here at the end of the night, $1 million.
What about strategy right now, Kyle?
I don't know. We're allowed to work on it right now, so we're going to talk it over and see what we need to do in order to make it a little bit better for these final 5 or 6 laps. And then, you know, for like I said, the next couple runs, we need to do something with it in order to make it run good on the beginning of the run, so we don't get beat up that bad.
Thank you much, Kyle. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
And the guy running second is Tony Stewart. Now, you just had a little conversation with Greg Biffle about his car. How is your car?
It was all right till I got behind the 5, and then I got tight. But, you know, and then I got tight long enough that, you know, he got good, and he's drove away from us now. So I don't know. It's not bad. It's much better than it was in practice yesterday, so I'm happy, really happy about it. So just see what we can do with this Home Depot Monte Carlo SS.
Now this whole tire package, along with the pavement, is it less forgiving, more forgiving? You have to be right. Is it like you're right on a fence? You're one way or the other?
You pray you got the fastest pit crew on the universe right now. It's virtually impossible to pass anybody.
By the way, happy birthday. You've got about an hour and 5 minutes left of your, any good gifts?
Well, I know one thing. I'm probably not going to get any free drinks the rest of the night because I'm not going to make it out of here in time to get any free drinks. But no, we've, you know, it's been a pretty calm day. I mean, got up at noon, had my bowl of cereal for lunch, and played the World of Outlaws sprint car game on PlayStation for about an hour and a half and watched 10 Cups. So pretty relaxing day.
Relaxing birthday, Dick Berggren.
Well, Carl Edwards' birthday is not today, but it may turn out that he gets a really good gift at the end of this race because, hey, I was listening to you on the radio, and early on you were saying, whoa, loose. How loose was it?
Oh, it's, we were talking about it earlier. I can't say how loose it was on TV, man. It was that loose. I turned in the corner, and it just kept turning. And I went across the apron, I thought, I can't wreck on the first lap of the All-Star race. But, man, Wally Brown, the guys got it dialed in. I don't want to get out, man. It's pretty good right now. It's fun.
So how did it get so much better? I mean, what you said on the radio was you could eat the rest of the field up.
I don't know if they got the cordless drill out and put the track bar down or what, but they made some adjustments back there. I saw them cranking as far as they could. So we just, man, the track is so treacherous. If it's a little tight, it's okay, but that loose, man. I know Humpy said I could drive a loose race car, but not that loose. That's bad.
Now, you got another stop coming up. When we get out of this 40-lap deal, we're going to have a 10-minute break. What do you want to do to the car then? You got guys can do whatever they want right now.
I was trying to come up with a plan, but I just told Wally and Jason Stockert and those guys, they're smart, man. They can do whatever they want. I'll just drive it. I got no clue, man. I'm just, whatever works. I mean, they're the ones with the pens and pencils and calculators. And Jack told me all I had to do tonight was have fun. He said he's never told anybody that, but that's my only job, so I'm trying to do that.
Isn't this great? Saturday night stock car racing. I tell you, Mike.
And of course, Matt Yoakum was talking about Tony Stewart's birthday today. Dick Berggren's birthday is next week, but we better hurry. We can't find enough stores that has enough candles for his birthday cake.
Yeah, I think last hurricane season there was a run on candles, and not even the fire department can help us out.
We just can't find enough. Chris Myers. I went to the school of Chris Myers.
Yes. What to do, what to do. Red flag racing leaves lots of time for guessing and second guessing.
I like Carl Edwards. I ain't got a clue.
I'm just going to drive it.
I'm just here to drive it.
All right.
Love that guy.
We're under the red flag at Lowe's Motor Speedway in the Nextel All-Star Challenge, and unlike a usual red flag in Nextel Cup racing, they're able to work on the cars, so the crews are taking a Visa race break as we wait for rain to let up and get the track dry. Let's see what Victory Lane looks like with Chris Myers.
I'm standing here with all my friends. Actually, I'm alone here. I knew you'd like that one. All right, Dick Berggren sent that on a note, Larry. I'm in Victory Lane where tonight somebody will be here to cash in on $1 million. But in the meantime, once we finish this segment, we play the inversion game. You've been pointing out anywhere between 6 and 12 drivers will be flip-flopped from the beginning to the back. And what will happen is fans have voted of the 140,000 that are here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. One of their favorite NASCAR on Fox and FX personalities, Mike Joy, Larry McReynolds, Darrell Waltrip, Jeff Hammond. At least those were the choices they had. So we've tabulated most of the votes. They voted on their Nextel Sprint phone. And once we get those final numbers in, when this segment is completed, we'll go over, flip that phone up, see what the number is, and that will give us the inversion. And the drivers will, of course, have to adjust for the next 30 laps and the next segment. That's pretty much the lowdown. I promise it'll be a little more exciting once we get all the votes in, okay?
And down here at the 24 car, Steve Letarte just finished a conversation with Jeff Gordon. Now, we were commenting about your view of Biffle's car off turn 4.
Yeah, that was a great save. You know, the track was just really slick. You know, the reason why our car is so good here at the end of a run is because we start off so loose. And with that green track, it was even looser than I thought it was going to. And I think for Greg as well and some other guys. But,
How
man,
about you?
I was loose. I never got it quite that sideways, but I got a good view of Greg, and I made sure I didn't get it sideways after that. I thought for sure he was going to lose it. He did a great job saving it. And tell you what, this DuPont Chevrolet is pretty good right now. I'm excited about where we're at, and you know, looking forward to this thing continuing on. We just got to make sure we get the car better at the beginning of a run, especially in that last segment.
A lot of conversation with you and your team about what changes you're going to try to make now. What are you going to do?
Well, that's the cool thing about this event is you can make changes. So, you know, we're looking at data and, you know, maps and everything else, and we're going to make some adjustments here. We already made a track bar adjustment, and now we're just looking at some other things we can do. I mean, we made some major adjustments there to make sure it was better on the shorter run, and it started getting too tight on me. So, you know, we're going to back it up a little bit and see what we got.
It looked almost like a test session with the map of the track and you're pinpointing different places.
Well, that's kind of what it is. I mean, this is somewhat of a test session for next week and a bit of a test session to get in that last 20.
He's won here before, looking for number 4 tonight. Steve?
Thank you, Matt, with Greg Biffle. And Greg, I saw you talking with Doug Richard, your crew chief, and Bobby McKeefe. Tell us about your race car. What is it doing on the racetrack or not doing?
Well, it's really good. And, you know, the charter car started out really good. And about spun out on lap 0 coming off turn 1. Just these tires, you got to get heat in them, you know, and you got to push the gas down or guys are going to run you over. So, but the car got much better there on that pit stop. We put some tires on it and made air pressure adjustment a lot better. Real loose at the beginning and then got real tight there up behind Tony. So track position is going to be key.
Darrell about jumped out of the booth when you got sideways coming off 4. He was amazed at the save you made.
Yeah, it was to the lock, and I was just praying that it wasn't going to snap into the wall. And it started coming around. I put the wheel back the other way, and just, you know, I was really lucky. You know, I didn't want to cause a big wreck in front of everybody, so I was able to maintain control of that thing.
All right, thanks a lot, Greg. Back up to Mike.
At 180 miles an hour, that was a great save.
To the lock, he said. That's all the way as far as it'll go.
Yeah. Driver starting to strap back in. Let's show you some of what's happened so far. There is Greg Biffle's slide and save. Everybody takes evasive action. Mark Martin into the back of his teammate Jamie McMurray. Big slide, little slap of the wall there. Jimmy Johnson trying to get on pit road, and Scott Riggs gets run over by Mark Martin and cuts down the right front. He's now a lap down. In the process, Junior went to the grass and eventually was the last car to pit. No caution resulted from that one. It did from this. Kurt Busch's night goes up in smoke. The caution comes out. The rain comes down. And then the red flag. This has been a Visa race break. Life takes Visa. In just moments, they'll refire the engines and we'll go back racing once again on Stock Car Racing's All-Star Night. Welcome back to Stock Car Racing's All-Star Night, the Nextel All-Star Challenge. One good sight is right there. The lights have come back on the pace car, and that means that the noise of engines is soon to follow, and away we'll go. We've got 6 laps to go in the first of 3 segments of the Nextel All-Star Challenge, but the drivers and crews under this red flag have had plenty of time to converse and make adjustments.
And if you're back there 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, you've had time to think about, you know, I need to stay right where I am.
Now, this is one thing, and Jeff Hammond, you and Chris Myers talked about this at the Ford Cutaway car before the race. With only about 5 or 6 laps to go, we're seeing teams adjust the tape on the nose. Now, why would you put more tape on there? Because it reduces the drag down the straightaway, puts more downforce in the front end, Jeff Hammond.
Yeah, we did discuss that early on. I also remember that Carl Edwards said they had made an adjustment as far as the track bar on his car and made it a lot better. So again, these teams keeping up with this ever-changing racetrack, this little short run, Larry, will give them the opportunity to kind of get an idea and make an assessment. Are we headed in the right direction? Do we need to make more? And for a lot of them, I'm sure they're thinking, well, maybe can I get by and stay out here on pit road? Stay out here on the racetrack, because again, Tony Stewart said it very well. It's going to be difficult to pass, and track position is going to be the key.
Jeff, I see you're down there with all your friends as well, like Chris was in Victory Lane.
Well, you know how it is, Larry. Sometimes it's a very lonely job, and that's the way you got to do it.
And you know what, though? Also, they could use this as a test session for this next 6 laps leading up to the end of this first segment. A little test session.
Exactly right. Again, I think that's what a lot of these guys are going to try to do right now, is make an evaluation over these next few laps exactly where they want to be, again, so they don't have to come back down there and make adjustments when they need to keep that track position.
From our DLP picture cam, the field rolling off pit road. Meanwhile, down at the Hollywood Hotel, Only the lonely.
Oh, Mike.
You do look very lonely down there.
Not really. It's the best it's been all night.
Chris is in victory lane, awaiting the invert.
He has a few friends down there now.
Jeff Hammond was just finishing up those bones, Larry, from from the barbecue earlier.
So they fixed your microphone, and now you can hear.
Oh, I've been listening. It's been very entertaining.
That's what we're supposed to be
Tell
doing.
Darrell we need more red flags out. How about
Kyle Busch is our leader. Tony Stewart, Greg Biffle, Jeff Gordon, Matt Kenseth, the front five.
Well, let's double them up here and see what happens.
Oh, that's even better.
I like it.
Because now, let's say, the 10th place car, like Ryan Newman, now effectively he's fifth on the outside row. I like this.
All restarts, double file. Any cars 1 or more laps down go to the rear of the field each restart.
I think the guy that's going to benefit from this double file restart is the 16. He's going to be right behind the 5. It's Greg Biffle. Tony's going to be on the outside. 5's going to go down into 1, push to 20 up. 16 goes by him.
I'm going to keep you do that. You watch those cars. I'm going to keep a close watch on Jimmy Johnson, that 48 car. He's going to restart back in 15th position.
And he's going to end up 12th, and they're going to invert 12. He'll be on the pole, and that's the end of that.
So starting 15th, he's 8th on the inside. Here's our KFC evening recap. Scott Riggs won the Nextel Open after a rain delay. You voted Kyle Petty into the All-Star race. Segment 1 so far, 4 leaders, 4 lead changes, and 1 car out of the race. That would be Kurt Busch with engine trouble.
You know, I believe we've got one of the biggest crowds here that we've ever had for an all-star race. Huge crowd.
And next weekend, it gets bigger.
Yes, sir.
300 miles for the Busch cars, the CarQuest 300, and the Coca-Cola 600 for these Nextel Cup drivers.
And I think a lot of it has to do with what we've talked about for the last month almost, is the new pavement, the hard tires. Guys been over here testing, really struggling. I think people want to come out and see what it's all about.
And also the format of this race, it was supposed to be a let's go home early night because it was a short night of racing. It's turned into anything but. However, nobody's heading for the exits. This is just the first of 3 segments.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a Saturday night special. It's turning into a midnight special.
Oh, these first 2 segments, they're just a couple of heat races.
Oh, yeah.
We got that 20-lap feature a little later on.
That trophy dash, baby.
There is Johnson, who will restart 8th row inside. Jarrett getting ready to go green. 4 laps to go in this segment. Somebody will earn $75,000. Who will it be? Green flag.
Kyle Busch in the 5 got a pretty good restart. Stewart's going to try to make a run on the outside, but here comes Biffle in the 16 car to the inside.
Boy, Biffle's car is bad fast on the bottom of this racetrack.
Well, this is treacherous right here on cold tires. Woo, Biffle!
And look at Jeff Gordon. He's going to make it 3 wide almost coming through turn 4. And this is going to allow Kyle Busch to drive away from these guys.
Boy, I tell you, Jeff Gordon cut Greg Biffle a lot of slack right there.
Yes, he did.
Harvick comes around on the high side, taking advantage of this double file restart.
And he also took advantage of those cars stacking up back there in turn 4 on that last lap.
We're getting into turn 3 just side by side. That is absolutely tip-and-toe right there.
All right, Harvick to 3rd, but Biffle is coming back on the inside.
Well, I think we saw on the other starts that Biffle has takes a couple of laps for him to get wound up, get going. Tires come in.
Kenseth coming back into the fray.
Now, 1 more lap of this first segment. And remember, not only is that a battle for 3rd right there, that's a battle for $10,000 who finishes 3rd in this first segment.
Hey, Larry, guess where the 48 is?
He has made his way up to 11th position and still a-coming.
If they invert 6, it'll put Kenseth on pole as we complete 40 laps.
If they invert 12, it'll put Jimmy Johnson on the front row.
Along with Dale Jarrett.
Now there's the caution right there.
If they invert 10, Mark Martin and Ryan Newman go to the front row. Should they invert 8 cars, Carl Edwards and Casey Kane go to the front row. And if they invert 6, well, Jeff Gordon passed Harvick on that lap, so it'd be Harvick and Kenseth on the front row.
So Kyle Busch is $75,000 richer, Tony Stewart $20,000 richer, and Greg Biffle $10,000.
And he has this to look forward to, starting 6th or 12th.
So when we come back, Chris Myers will answer his phone and find out who starts up front in segment 2. Welcome back to Lowe's Motor Speedway. The Red Hot Chili Peppers are getting warmed up for their performance here tonight. The pit crews are hard at work, hood up on Matt Kenseth, among others, during this break. Here's Steve Burns.
Kyle Busch said he wanted just a small track bar adjustment, and Alan Gustafson and some of the crew talking about making some adjustment to the tape configuration on the nose of the Chevrolet. Matt?
And Greg Zipadelli is talking to his driver, Tony Stewart. Now, using the fact that this is an all-star event and there is an intermission, they actually swapped the front changer with the rear and the tire carriers just to have a little bit of fun. And you can see Paul Leppa and Al Schuford, the 2 pit crew coaches, laughing with the guys. But Stewart said basically the same problem that he had earlier, he is still having. Aero tight. Dick?
Well, Matt Kenseth is pretty happy with his race car. Wasn't at the beginning of this event. He had problems with it both being loose and also being tight as well. Right now, we got a couple of mechanics under the hood working on the upper control arms of the car. But he did say that the car was perfectly fine, just a little bit loose, but okay, no big deal. Happy with it. They did not change tires. Chris Myers.
All right, thanks, Dick. At victory lane, 50 more laps, and somebody will be in here with $1 million. Some lucky driver. Pat Sajak couldn't make it tonight. He's spinning a wheel. We're watching the wheels spin. Time to play the inversion game here on FX. And what we did was the 140,000 plus fans got to vote on their Nextel Sprint cellular phone. These were the 4 choices of NASCAR FX personalities: Mike Joy, Larry McReynolds, Darrell Waltrip, Jeff Hammond, and they had to vote one ahead of the rest, and that phone is the one we answer. We flip that up. It has a number anywhere from 6 through 12, as the guys have been telling you, and that's the inversion. That's how we'll flip it. So let's see. We got a busy signal. We got a call waiting, and here we go. The percentages favor. That's correct, right? 70% at the last moment. A DW landslide. So Darrell Waltrip, and the inversion number is 10, just like that. So it's not the maximum, but that would mean, guys, that Ryan Newman goes to the front and Mark Martin right behind him. So Kyle Busch and Tony Stewart get thrown to the back. So our guys will run through the entire field, another 30-lap segment, then a 20-lap segment, and you'll get your big winner on All-Star Night here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Coming up, the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Their album debuted #1, Stadium Arcadium. They'll perform, and we'll continue to bring you racing from Charlotte.
Cars are in the backstretch and rolling. We're set to start segment 2 of the Nextel All-Star Challenge. We've run 40 laps. Now we'll go 30. Here's the way they will line up with the inversion of the first 10. It puts Ryan Newman and Mark Martin, both past winners of the All-Star race, on the front row. And we're going to hold for 1 lap before we go green. Kyle Busch, leader at the end of the first segment, gets bumped back to 10th starting spot. But remember, it's double file restart, so that puts him back to 5th on the outside lane.
Heard a little bit more of aero tight behind other cars tonight than I've been hearing lately.
That we've heard in a couple of years, really.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that complaint for a while.
So Jimmy Johnson needed 1 more spot in that 48 car to get up there on the front row, so he's going to restart back in 11th position.
Point being, seems like you can chase down someone, but it's very difficult to pass someone.
30 laps for segment 2. Caution laps count. All restarts double file, and the leader at the end of segment 2, $75,000. Dick Berggren.
Mark Martin benefits from the inversion. He will restart in 2nd position with a car that's just a little bit tight. Matt Kenseth's crew late in the break decided to change tires, Steve.
Dick, I talked to Jimmy Johnson on pit road. He said, man, my car is awesome. Did you see me almost get run over coming off turn 4? And he said, then I was just riding. our car is awesome. Matt?
Dale Earnhardt Jr. restarts back in the 15th position. They've done just about everything to that race car to try to free him up. It is just plowing like a truck. He said significant wedge, significant track bar, and air pressure adjustments. Mike?
You'll love this. The Red Hot Chili Peppers decided to play one more song for the crowd while we were in break. The lights from the stage were blinding the drivers, so we had to go one more lap of caution before we could get this race back underway. Now we're ready.
Yeah, and since it's all about winning, I mean, if you're back in there, your car's junk and you're not very good, basically you just use this for a test session.
And this is pretty much just a normal 30-lap segment here. No pit stop required.
This should be the best part of the race, other than the final 20. But I mean, this is where they just see who's got the car right.
Get all you can, though.
Scott Riggs at the tail of the field, one lap down. Lap down cars have to start at the back on every restart.
Martin Earnhardt Jr. restarted back in the 15th position.
And Mark Martin takes the lead into 3.
Boy, they're stacking up, coming off of 4. We've seen a lot of trouble here. Everybody gets off there pretty clean. Kane gets a great run under Newman.
Our post sitter in the 9 car takes over the 2nd position. Carl Edwards in that 99 trying to follow him.
Boy, Stewart got under Busch. Kenseth slipped up, and Tony Stewart grabbed 2 quick spots.
And it like to have been big as they're 3 wide down the back straightaway. Kevin Harvick in the 29 on the inside.
Yikes.
They had to be 2 wide by the time they got to turn 3.
Again, that's a little bit of courtesy on Carl Edwards' part. Guys are being pretty kind to each other right now. Gotta believe that's probably going to change before the night ends.
Johnson restarted 11th. He is up to 7th.
Riding with him right here.
And he's blowing the stickers off that car. It's so fast, Larry.
It's gone now. Here's a battle for 3rd. Ryan Newman in the 12th car. Remember, his car was not very good in that first segment. A lot of pressure from Kevin Harvick in the 29.
Harvick's there. He's got the nose alongside. He's going to make the
trouble.
pass.
Last car in line, Michael Waltrip slams the wall near start finish.
Hard lick. Caution will be out.
Hey, that thing
he has no brakes.
He's got no
throttle,
brakes.
I think maybe hung.
Man, it's a good thing it spun around. That thing was headed right for the inside pit wall. Whew. He's all right to win the nets down.
Wham, bam.
Goodness.
Off of turn 4 where we've seen so many problems throughout the entire weekend.
Really, really. I just can't believe how treacherous turn 4 is.
And a very frustrating season for the 1996 All-Star winner continues.
It's right in front of Dale Jarrett here.
Same thing we've seen happen to so many cars. Car just got loose.
I saw them working on it down. I had it jacked up, and they were all up under the bottom, up underneath it, working on it. I don't know what they did, but didn't help it. Yeah, it just comes around all by itself. I can't even count the number of times we've seen that happen over here this weekend.
Almost happened to Greg Biffle right at the start of the race earlier in the 16. He was just able to correct it.
Michael's okay.
You know, the thing that worries me about my brother, he's 6'5", and he is just wadded up inside that race car. He doesn't have a whole lot of room.
And he will join Kurt Busch in the garage. They call them soft walls. They're hard. Still pretty hard.
Tear up your car.
After 5 of 30 laps in segment 2, Kasey Kahne leading Mark Martin, Harvick, Newman, Edwards, Gordon, Johnson. Skid row from turn 4 down through the grass to start, finish, and beyond.
That's a good way to explain that. See the old Napa car there, the 55 Dodge, just jumped south from under him. Hard impact into that wall. Now the throttle's hung, Larry. Now you can see the rear tires as he goes off across here, and I think he probably finally hits the kill switch, I would suspect.
Yeah, the drivers have a kill switch right on the steering wheel. You can reach up there and hit it, and it just kills the power to the engine. But you can see that throttle is definitely hung.
Yeah, you can see the rear tires are spinning away. I think he finally, after the shock of hitting the outside or wall there, he finally caught it. But, you know, this joint is just frustrating a lot of guys tonight. I mean, a lot of guys are not happy. Let's listen in on Dale Jr.
No change whatsoever. Changes. Tight. I need to know what scale of change that did. If it did nothing, just say nothing. Whatever. So, I mean, I'm making drastic changes here. I'm not just playing around.
I would take that as nothing.
That's a definite nothing.
Change it. It's tight. Car does not want to turn in the corner.
Well, he's going to get some changes because here he's hitting pit road. Pit road is open. He's the only lead lap car hitting pit road. Scott Riggs in the 10 is 1 lap down. So he's going to get more drastic changes from Tony Ure Jr. and that pit crew.
I just wonder if they know he was coming.
I'm in.
They do now.
If they knew he was coming.
As we watch Junior's pit stop, Dick Berggren has caught up with Michael Waltrip.
Michael, an awfully hard hit. Did that have anything to do with the throttle hanging open?
I just tried to pedal it and just got away from me. I know why everybody's been spinning out now. We loosened my car up a whole lot, and I just that quick it got away from me. A real setback for our team. This was a car that we were learning about. It had a good feeling in the front end. It was just too tight. You know, I was looking forward to taking it home and working on the Napa Dodge and getting it ready to come back next week. But we will have to bring another one now. That was a mistake that was on top of me. You know, we put a bunch of spring rubbers in both her springs and she got loose.
Glad you're okay. Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, Dick. Waltrip joins Kurt Busch in the garage, so 18 cars will take this restart. We've completed 47 of the 90 laps we'll run tonight. The scoring monitor at the top of your screen says 8 of 30, and those are the laps in segment 2.
That invert really kind of shakes things up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, we got guys up here, Mark Martin, Casey Kane, Kevin Harvick, guys that we haven't talked much about in the first 40 laps.
And Kyle Busch made no move, restarted in 10th, and he's still in 10th position in the 5 car that was the leader at the end of the first segment.
Yeah, he got messed up over there off of turn 2 when somebody wadded up in front of him. He had to really take evasive action. Cost him a bunch of spots.
The car that was coming at the time of the flag, Jimmy Johnson.
There it
Trouble,
is, hard
trouble,
in the
guys.
outside wall.
Man.
Kane and Martin.
And here they are, all cut. This is the big one we have in the All-Star race.
Tony Stewart.
Stewart had it missed, and Jeremy Mayfield came across track into him.
He didn't get, kept quite a bit of damage, but here's the guys that made it through right here.
The 48 car, Jimmy Johnson being one of them.
Does he live a charmed life? He had just made the pass to the inside when Kane and Mark Martin up front got together and into the outside wall.
His teammate didn't come out too badly either. Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin's car is destroyed. Tony's got quite a bit of damage.
Left front, especially.
Left front and rear. He got hit from behind.
And right behind him, Greg Biffle, a 16 car. I could see a lot of damage on his right front. There's Kyle Busch. We just talked about him. Both ends of that race car.
You know, back in my day, those inverts on the features usually resulted in similar results.
Jamie McMurray, the 26 car, involved in that early crash coming off turn 4. He had stayed on the lead lap, and look at this car.
Look at Jeremy Mayfield's car.
How does McMurray even see where to go with that hood up like that?
Casey Kane just gets loose. He gets pushing up here off of turn 2, and he gets into Mark. And you see him, he gets loose right there, and here he comes into Mark, and they both go in the wall. And
nowhere for Mark to go, and they start stacking up behind him. You see Biffle and Kyle Busch getting together. There you see McMurray and Mayfield.
Tony had it missed and got tagged.
Yeah, he got hit from behind by Jeremy Mayfield. And he got hit really hard.
DW, watching this right here reminds me of the wreck you had with Dale Earnhardt in 95. Kind of got pinched up an outside wall, and you know how hard that impact is.
Oh, yeah, that hurts. We didn't have safer barriers in. That helps a little bit, but still, it's a hard hit for a bunch of those guys.
Did you see how close Matt Kenseth and Jeff Gordon almost
just
got into that?
Wiggled through.
Here's Matt.
Mike Casey's going to take the car to the garage. They have a hole in the radiator. The water was already up to 250. Yes, I'm going to take exactly what he said. Basically, that was simply the car was in the racetrack, and then it wasn't. I had absolutely no grip, and away it went.
Well, like we've talked about it all night. I mean, from the get-go, these restarts were going to be treacherous. Oh my gosh. That makes all my ribs hurt.
And when that happens with the front row, this is the results.
See Greg Biffle down there, Larry. He's sliding through. I know he got hit. I don't know how much.
Got a lot of damage on the right front.
3 of the Roush cars involved.
And 2 of the Evernham cars. There you see the damage on Greg Biffle, the 16 car.
And because the lapped cars have to restart all the way in the back, you have virtually no chance of getting a lap back from the leader. You might as well go to the house. Steve?
And Mike, just listening to Greg Biffle talk to Doug Richard, and Greg's point is if they have too much aerodynamic damage, he said, we're not going to beat those guys with a torn up race car. Let's just put the wheels on it and put it back in the garage. They just don't, there's too much damage for them to be competitive, Matt.
A lot of damage to the rear of Tony Stewart's Chevrolet, Steve. He asked who was it that hit him. It felt like it was at full speed. A lot of cosmetic damage there. Also, Greg Zipadelli is surveying the damage on the left front fender. A lot of bare bond tape trying to piece together what they have left of that front fender, Dick.
It's amazing that Casey Kane was able to drive what is left of his race car into the garage area, but he has done just that. Been pretty much staring off into the distance since you got here. What's your make on what happened out there?
You know, I thought we had a good car. We got to the front there and just had a car. I just trying to race with Mark there and just lost grip. I mean, it was all there, everything's great, and then gone just like that. So it's tough, man. There's not a lot of grip out there, and when a car's tucked up beside you, there's just I thought everything was great. Next thing I knew, I was backwards, and that's not good when you're in front of the whole race pack.
We're glad you're okay. This garage is absolutely full of wreckage, Mike. It's an amazing sight down here.
Well, it is a fairly common occurrence in the All-Star race that we have incidents that involve multiple cars and send them to the garage.
There's just too many things going on at this weekend. Hard tires and all the other things that drivers are having to deal with. And then, of course, these double foul restarts, inverts, just a lot of things.
Boy, Ryan Newman in that 12 was another lucky driver that just barely got through. But look at Kyle Busch, how many times that race car gets hit the 5 car.
Now we're watching Mayfield to answer Tony Stewart's question. It was Mayfield that got into Stewart, but it looked as if he got turned by contact with Biffle and then came across.
I'll tell you, guy, watch this. There goes Jimmy Johnson through. Yep. Kurt Busch, but watch Jeff Gordon.
See, Tony's got it missed. And wham.
From Mayfield, the 19 coming up off the bottom.
He probably did feel like he got hit running wide open because Mayfield was basically coming back across the racetrack.
All right. We understand we're going to see Jamie McMurray come down.
He's back there in the
Stewart.
back. Yeah.
He's out of frame and just now coming in right there. So let's roll. It's against Kyle Busch. That sends Mayfield in.
Here comes Tony, which he's probably thinking I'm in pretty good shape, and then he gets turned.
Yeah, he had those cars that were wrecked missed.
Right.
He got turned into it all.
I'm not sure how the 26, the 19, obviously, maybe the 26 hit the 19 and knocked him into Tony.
Well, let's see if we can find out. Steve?
With Jeremy Mayfield, Mike, and you've looked at the replay just partially for the first time. What happened from your point of view?
I'm not sure. I know that I seen, Casey get crossed up there for some reason. I'm not sure what happened, if somebody got into him, whatever, and then it just started stacking up from there. But we were going to be fine, and then, how you get hit from behind and all that stuff, just racing. And I hate it because our car is really good. We had a plug wire that kind of got messed up at the beginning and kind of set us back a little bit, but we had a great car tonight. I'm real proud of all the guys on this Dodge Dealers team and UAW and everybody's involved and sticking with us. And I thought we was going to have a good run tonight and just come up short.
Jeremy, I heard you. Did you say something to Tony Stewart after the incident?
Well, yeah, he come at me, raising hell down there, revving his motor up and stuff. I didn't have nothing to do with it, so I come down here and make sure we're all right, and we are. So we're cool.
Thank you, Jeremy. Dick?
With Mark Martin, and he has not yet seen a replay of this incident. His car is incredibly torn up. We'll see if we can get something to roll here for you, Mark, so you can see it. Here it comes. Talk us through it.
I can't tell from that angle, but just looks like Casey slid up into me. I don't know. It's one of those things, man. I just want to thank all the AAA members out there and all my fans. I came here to race, and buddy, we were doing it. So, yeah, there he goes. He lost it. All I can tell you is that when you're down on the inside, that gas pedal controls whether you lose control of it or not. And you got to think about how much you give it down there. And, on the other restart, I saw Ryan Newman thought about it a little bit, and he didn't give it all he had because he knew he was going to get loose down there. So, kudos to Ryan Newman. Great show. We're fixing to have us a different winner than people might have expected. We've jumbled up the field. It's an honor to be driving this AAA car, this Ford Fusion, and man, I'm just happy to be here.
Will you come back next year and run this event again?
I'll be here.
Good. We'll look forward to seeing you then. And next weekend as well.
Thank you.
This is Mark's final season in Nextel Cup. He will be eligible for the All-Star race next year, and he's going to run it. Good news for Mark Martin fans. Have a look and listen to this. Caution flag is out. The field pulls off of pit road. And that old Johnny Horton song, there wasn't nigh as many as there was a while ago.
Doing a lot of stopping and starting, though. Get her going.
Dumb.
Segment 2 of the Nextel All-Star Challenge, 11 of 30 laps down. In the garage, Greg Biffle, Casey Kane, Mark Martin, Jeremy Mayfield, Jamie McMurray from this crash. And listen to the dialogue between Ryan Newman and his spotter.
Clear, man. 10-4. I don't know how you did that. I couldn't even see it come through it. Beautiful, bud. I saw it coming.
he had a bird's eye view.
A ringside seat. Watch that purple and black car.
Up on the outside, right behind the two guys that wreck. They just happened to give him enough room to get by.
There wasn't a whole lot a spotter could do there for him. He had a much better view than the spotter.
Dick?
Well, with Greg Biffle, well, you dodged the first one when that car got so sideways. What happened in this one?
I'm not really sure what happened. It looked like something up front started and just a chain reaction. We ended up in it. But, the Charter National Guard car was really good. I felt like the car was capable of winning us $1 million tonight. It ran very well. Just, kind of taking my time and going to work my way up there. And it's unfortunate. Somebody probably just got loose, because I got loose, very loose at the beginning. Tony Stewart got very loose. So probably got away from somebody and weren't able to save it.
From $1 million payday to the junkyard. Wow. Talk about ups and downs. Welcome to big time stock car racing.
From 0 to 0 in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, that was a big hit for Jack Rouse right there. Three of his cars involved, plus the little bit of damage that Matt Kenseth, the 17 car, received. Oh, by the way, Mr. Jimmy Johnson, who at one point was caught speeding on pit road, he's up to third now in that 48 car.
Went from nearly a lap down, now to third place and coming.
And I think he's called his banker, too.
Harvick and Edwards, front row. Here we go.
So we've got 12 cars out there on the racetrack. One of those cars, Scott Riggs, in the 10 is a lap down. 11 cars on the lead lap. Carl Edwards in the 99 kind of took it easy on the high side. He's going to lose 2 or 3 positions. One to his teammate Matt Kenseth in that 17.
Newman perhaps got the best restart of anyone. There he is now in second behind Harvick.
He shot out of that second turn like he came out of a cannon. It just takes these cars a couple of 3 laps to pick up enough grip to where they can be aggressive.
And Carl Edwards continued to lose.
Yeah, he just took off up the hill, you know.
I tell you what, I'll be anxious to see how Tony Stewart, that 20 car runs. He took a hard lick in that left front.
And Jeff Gordon went from 5th to 11th in 1 lap.
Yeah, Jeff's not happy with his car, obviously.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car, followed by Bobby Labonte in the 43 car.
Tell you what, boys. I don't know what they did to that 8 car, but they also helped it a lot, too.
Remember, they pitted right after this segment started when they got a caution, made major adjustments on that race car.
But remember what Michael Waltrip said. He asked them to loosen the car up. They did. Hello, Wall.
Yeah. Got to have it a little tight.
Labonte to the inside, sneaking through in the Petty 43.
The reason you got to have it a little tight, the tires are so loose on their own. Whoa, here goes a good run by the 17, by the 12.
And who's coming into the picture? Closing fast. Last year's winner.
Yeah, he got shuffled on that couple of laps ago. He got shuffled back there a little bit. Here he comes back, Jimmy Johnson.
That is last year's winner in the Coke 600 and the last 4 Nextel Cup point races here.
But I'm going to tell you what, while all that's going on, Kevin Harvick in that 29 car, he's sitting there with over a second lead, clicking off the fastest laps each time that he's running this race.
Matt Kenseth just came off turn 2. Larry back there got a big push and almost hit the wall off too, and allowed these guys to catch back up to him now.
Ryan Newman in the 12 to the bottom.
Hang on, boys.
Don't run out of racetrack.
You don't want to be 3 wide there.
I don't want to be too wide, to tell you the truth. Boy, Carl Edwards.
He is having a time,
He is.
Hey, second place. This is now a foursome. Here comes Stewart.
3 wide down the backstretch. Somebody's got to give, boys, and Jimmy Johnson's going to pass them both on the inside.
And look at Tony. Tony's going to pass him.
Can't believe it.
That was it. Tony Stewart just drove to the white, under the white line to make that pass. And Larry, like you said, that car has pretty serious damage.
Yes, it does.
Hey, opportunity, knock, knock.
You'll drive through a lot of things when you got $1 million on the line. Somebody better look at Harvick. I mean, he is just killing them.
Kevin Harvick, his fastest lap of the race was 4 laps ago, 29.15. He's still cutting laps in the mid 29-second bracket.
He is half a second a lap faster than everybody but, say, Jeff Gordon.
Stop the presses, though. Jimmy Johnson in that 48 car, he just cut his fastest lap. Ryan Newman's going to lose 2 positions to the 2 Roush cars that's left out there on the racetrack.
Jimmy Johnson has the fastest race car. He just got bottled up back there when all that racing was going on in front of him. I don't think he's got time to chase down Kevin Harvick, but that's where the race is.
10 to go to the end of the second segment. There's Jimmy Johnson in the 48, 2.5 seconds behind our leader, Kevin Harvick. He could use a caution right now.
Welcome to Sunday if you're watching us on the East Coast. A long night of all-star racing here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Scott Riggs won the Nextel Open. Kyle Busch led at the end of segment 1, but we've had 4 caution flags, including the big one that took 6 cars out of this race on lap 50.
Now let's set this up. In 8 laps, there's going to be another caution, but it's just like a normal caution coming with 20 laps to go in a race. You may pit, you may stay out. If you pit, it's a race off pit road. You will go where you fall in coming off of pit road. Then we'll have 20 green flag laps.
Well, they got to get fuel, Larry.
They have to pit for fuel, absolutely.
So they're going to pit. But that's all I'd do. I'd come in and splash some fuel that bad boy and get out of there. Because tires are not a problem. Well, they are a problem, but you don't need any.
Now on the right-hand side of your screen, Scott Riggs in the 10. Remember, he's a lap down, but here comes Jeff Gordon in the 24. This is a battle for 6, Steve. 24 car coming to life, but he's running out of time.
Yeah, Larry Mack, but it was just a couple laps ago that Jeff Gordon said the car was sideways loose, almost on the verge of being out of control.
These tires take a while to come in, like we've said all evening, and a car can be bad and get better.
Yeah, we've seen that time and time again. These restarts are just, some of these guys just can't go anywhere and for 4 or 5 laps, and they get where they can drive it.
So I think that supports what you said. When they hit pit road, when that caution comes out in about laps, 4 to 5 laps, I think that's you'll see fuel just enough to go to the end.
Tony Stewart backing up into the clutches of Carl Edwards in the 99.
I am so surprised at how well that 20 car is running, because we saw him go right through the middle of that whole melee over there with cars bouncing off of him. The left front, they had to bang it out. The rear bumper cover was all torn up.
Loose behind him. For copy.
That was Carl Edwards in the 99. Unlike what we've been hearing about the aero push, he's saying he's actually a little bit loose behind Tony Stewart, the 20 car.
It's interesting to watch timing and scoring here. Jeff Gordon, who was about to wreck just a few laps ago, is now the fastest car on the racetrack.
Edwards makes the pass for third on Tony Stewart. Kevin Harvick's lead now 2.5 seconds over Jimmy Johnson. This battle is 2.5 seconds
baby. Yours.
behind that.
Lost it.
It was
Go
4
on.
laps to
Tire
go.
management now, Carl. Tire management. 3 to go. We can't do anything but the tire management.
That's Bobby Hudson, his spotter. And what that tells me, don't abuse these tires, because you know what? When we pit, we don't plan on changing them. But right now, our top two, Kevin Harvick, Jimmy Johnson, with 3 laps to go, their lap times are almost mirroring each other. I think they're just looking for that caution. Who can win the battle off pit road when these guys pit?
I think they're taking care of their tires right now, too. That's all Jimmy Johnson's doing. Okay, I got behind here. Let me get caught up on this when we go back to the 20 to go.
Now their lap times are only about 0.3 of a second slower than they were, say, 10 laps ago.
I really believe, I mean, those are 2 great cars, the 29 and 48, but if they could help that 99 car just a little bit, watch out.
Jeff Gordon in the 24 car putting pressure on Matt Kenseth in the 17, as well as Tony Stewart in the 20.
I believe the damage on Tony's car is starting to show up now. I mean, I think he was just probably running on tires, and they start to abuse them.
But Darrell, it's almost like Matt Kenseth caught Tony Stewart, like we've seen a lot tonight, couldn't go by him.
Seems like Jeff, seems to be that aero problem.
Whoa, Jeff had a big twitch there.
And then, see, that's the other thing we've seen time and time again. He almost hit the wall off before then. May have, no, he didn't. But it's like you got grip, zoom, it's gone.
Now, after all of the cars come back around and take this next lap and they cross the start-finish line, we will see that caution displayed. Pace car will pick the field up. Everyone will have the option of making pit stops.
And the best news for fellas like Jeff Gordon, Ryan Newman, Bobby Labonte is the next restart, double final.
Yes, sir.
Harvick leads lap 70, running right at 30 seconds. Rest of the field's coming across. And then we'll get Jeff what could be the final caution flag of the night.
Mike, it might be the final caution flag of the night, but for a lot of these teams, and listen to you guys talk, watching that scoring monitor, it tells me I've got an idea what it's going to take to be able to beat Kevin Harvick right now as the caution flag does come out to get ready to set up the final segment. So if I'm not that good, guys, I'm coming down on pit road, and I'm going to make a lot of adjustments, hoping the double file restart, and maybe those adjustments give me a chance to maybe get up there and challenge for this win.
This is the first time in the history of the Nextel All-Star Challenge that Kevin Harvick has been a segment leader. He'll bank $75,000.
Jimmy Johnson, $20,000. Carl Edwards, $10,000. And for our fans that got off at midnight that just joined us, the teams are running a small fuel cell here. We just ran a 30-lap segment. They will have to come to pit road to at least get fuel.
We mean for the fans who just got home from their local Saturday night short track.
There you go.
Yeah, or a movie or a dinner or wherever you were.
You should have been at your local Saturday night short track. That's what we're saying.
I think they're all still there watching on the big screen.
There you
go. I like that.
I know they are in Irwindale, California, out at that beautiful speedway there. Bob DeFazio was here the other day. So they were going to show the Nextel All-Star Challenge and then start their Saturday night race program. It's going to be a little late tonight.
They'd probably like for us to hurry up and get finished too.
Darrell, I honestly believe we're going to see several different strategies here. I think we'll see some teams change tires. I think we'll see some teams roll the dice, try to just get enough fuel in there to go to the end and try to win the battle off pit road. And here they come, what could be the final pit stop.
Gas and go, baby.
You got to fill it up because only green flag laps count in the last segment, so we could have a lot of laps to run here.
Let's see what happens here. I'd be
Dick?
Well, Carl Edwards is going to take 4 fresh tires, brand new tires, not even scuffed. They're going to put a little more weight in the left rear. They're going to try to tighten his car up. Steve?
Todd Berrier and Kevin Harvick talking about possibly taking just right side tires. That's what they do. The 48 car, they are going to raise the Panhard bar. Matt?
Shaggy Larson already completed the wedge adjustment on Tony Stewart's Chevrolet, taking one more shot here, trying to get this race car freed up. He's down and away.
Harvick wins the race off pit road. Then it's between Kenseth and Johnson for the second spot.
And he's the only car that took 2 tires. The best I can tell, everyone else did 4 tires, and I'm a little surprised at that.
Last night in the truck race, 50-lap tires came off those trucks. They look brand new.
Is that song After Midnight? I think it is.
It sounds like to me.
It applies, I know that.
Kevin Harvick leading with 20 laps to go. Last time a Richard Childress car won the All-Star race, 1993, the late great Dale Earnhardt. We still have 20 laps to go, and let's recap with Jeff Hammond, Chris Myers from the Hollywood Hotel. Well, the evening started with rain, about an hour and 15-minute delay. And the NEXTEL Open, once they got going, is Scott Riggs from the pole, led all but one lap, won the race to move into the NEXTEL Challenge. Kyle Petty was voted in. Red Hot Chili Peppers making a donation to charity and singing and performing here. Mark Martin in the first 40-segment lap involved in a couple of scrapes. Kyle Busch winning that. The inversion game, though, put Ryan Newman to the front. Once we got back to racing, Jeff Hammond, it looks like Kane and Martin and 7 cars involved.
Yeah, it was a big one, as they say. Casey Kane down on the inside of Mark Martin. He gets loose up into him, and the next thing you know, he collects a lot of race cars that are now behind the wall, including Jamie McMurray, Jeremy Mayfield, Kyle Busch, as well as Mark Martin and Casey Kane.
Tony Stewart was able to hang around in that, but that opened the way for Kevin Harvick, who ended up taking this last segment to become the leader. The last time the segment 2 leader won this All-Star race was '98, and Mark Martin did that. Mike?
Here's the way they will restart segment 3 with 20 laps to go. Plus Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Scott Riggs. And here we go. 20 laps, only green flag laps count in this final segment.
Folks, all that other stuff that happened didn't count.
All out the window now.
Feature time.
It's all about now. It's all start to happen now.
There goes Jimmy Johnson in the 48 car to the outside of Kevin Harvick.
We got to be careful off of turn 2.
Touch.
Yes, they did touch. Almost the same thing that happened to Casey Kane and Mark Martin, just not quite as bad there that time.
Jimmy sends it in turn 3.
Got to be careful off of turn 4.
And Harvick comes right back at him. Harvick led that lap.
Harvick's fighting back. This is really treacherous, and look at this.
Matt Kenseth in the 17 car, he stuck his nose in there for a minute.
Johnson goes in, he washes up a little bit, opens the door for Harvick. Oh, we're tight off of 2.
Remember, Kevin Harvick has just those 2 fresh right side tires. Probably take a few laps for the right sides to catch up with the left.
Oh boy, Jimmy Johnson drove it in turn 3 so hard he pushed up, opened the door for Harvick to slide. No,
Car in the wall,
quite.
Edwards in the wall.
Raised it off turn 4. Jimmy Johnson's going to take the lead going off into turn 1.
Yeah, he cleared him. Oh God, there's Tony Stewart and Matt Kenseth.
Hard in the wall.
Hard in the wall.
Caution will be out.
Golly gee.
And the 3 cars behind them didn't even try to drive through it.
They just stopped on the racetrack.
I've had my spotter say that before, just stop.
Dale Jarrett, Kyle Petty, and Scott Riggs, who was a lap down, but looks like the night will be over for the 17 and the 20 car.
Looks like Tony got in underneath the 17 car and lost it. Very similar to what happened to Casey Kane and Mark Martin.
Now first, Carl Edwards gets into the wall coming out of turn 4.
All by himself. Loses
Got
the back
loose.
end, slaps it
Pretty hard.
Pretty darn hard.
Just ran out of racetrack.
Yep.
Then at the other end of the speedway, turn 1.
You know, Matt was already a little loose getting down in. It looked like he was really almost sideways before Tony ever got in there and got on him. Have to look at that again. Have these 2 guys had a little, didn't they start the year off this way?
At Daytona.
See those three cars back there just stopping. They didn't know where these two were going to go.
And since caution laps don't count, it didn't much matter.
And both of them just took their cars straight to the garage area.
There seems to be a meeting going on over at the 20 car.
Tony Stewart, twice a series champion, won't see victory lane tonight.
So we are now down to 9 cars left on the racetrack. One of those cars, Scott Riggs, a lap down. Actually,
yes, one lap down.
One lap down, yeah.
Now, he was the second car off pit road at the break, but because he was a lap down, had to restart in the rear.
The back, yeah.
So you might have wondered when he first got a lap down with that cut tire, why keep going? Because now he's up to
Let's see if we can watch the 17 back here. They're going down to turn 1. That's Tony down here on the inside. Oh, they get together, but that's what Tony gets into the left rear of the 17, gets him sideways, and then they get hooked together and make pretty hard contact into the outside wall.
That was your 3rd and 4th place car.
It's hard to say how that started. Only the 2 drivers know. Let's hear from one of them, Dick.
You just watched that replay. What did it look like?
I didn't see the beginning of it. You know, I knew Tony had a run, and you know, I just you know, at the start-finish line, he was still behind me, so I just pulled down against the grass because I was going to obviously protect the bottom. And you know, if he got inside me, I don't know how he did. He must have run over the grass to get there. And once they said he was inside, I moved up, but he just tapped me in the left rear, and then he proceeded to take a right and run me up the fence. So you know, if he was under there, I didn't know he was under there. I don't know how he got there when I was against the grass.
2 really good cars wrecked in the garage.
And that's 4 out of 5 Roush cars that are now in the garage. And the other car, Carl Edwards in the 99, we watched him slap the fence pretty hard a while ago.
We're going to ride with Dale Jarrett.
One back to the 45 following you.
There's the wreck.
Back it down, back it down. You want to stay low now. You got one below you. Got one below you.
He ain't going to take a chance. He's just going to stop.
Rolling.
Now he sees a clear path.
Keep rolling.
In fact, he almost got hit from behind by Kyle Petty as they were all trying to stop and avoid everything. List of cars out of the race is longer than the list of cars still in it.
A process of elimination, someone's going to win $1 million.
You know, it's almost like you took 20 cars and you had suitcases and a bunch of pretty girls and a guy with no hair and an earring, and take your pick.
And I wish you'd look who's going to start on the outside of the second row. Bobby Labonte in the 43 car. But Steve, how about Jimmy Johnson in that 48?
Yeah, Larry, you guys are going to have to help me out here. We've heard Jimmy say that the car, his comment was that it ran out of fuel on the top of the racetrack, and Chad Canals has basically told him he's just going to have to ride it out.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely put fuel in it on that last caution, so...
That sounds, you can hear him trying to clear it out.
Daryl, I was talking about wheel or no wheel. Who gets the $1 million? Let's find out.
18 to go.
I tell you what I'd be worried about, and I said it all along, and there he is back up there again, and it seems like when he gets heat in his tires, it's that 24 car, but he just can't get going on these restarts.
Kevin Harvick at the 29, he's going to take second spot away coming off turn 2. I just talked about him. Bobby Labonte in the 43 car, side by side for third with Jeff Gordon. Both the Petty cars
like
still in
side by side. Oh, I don't like side by side.
And there comes Newman in the 12 to the inside of Bobby Labonte. Bobby's going to lose several spots.
3 wide.
Hello, 3 wide into 1. Who makes it?
Newman, a little give and take right there in the 12 car.
Well, you know, when you're racing for 5th and 6th, the money's about the same, guys.
Dick Berggren is with Tony Stewart.
Tony, you've seen the replay. You were there. What happened?
Well, it's pretty funny. That's the first time I've actually got to sit in the truck and watch the other guy in the interview, but it's a pretty demented view from where I saw. I mean, I got to run on him like he said. At least he got that part right, but you know, you can see where they start the camera view that he's a whole lane and a half low, and you know, you don't go in the corner that way. So obviously he's blocking there. And, you know, if he wants to complain about me getting under there, I mean, I was there, and you know, any other weekend that would be acceptable. But you know, it's the NEXTEL All-Star Crash Fest. So you know, I think he screwed up on this one and thinks that if he thinks I did that and that was my fault, he screwed up in the head.
Tony Stewart, obviously, very unhappy, understandably so.
Well, Dick, let me tell you who's happy. Jimmy Johnson in that 48 car. He just ran a 29.21 here with 15 laps to go. That's the fastest lap he is running this race, with Kevin Harvick in 29, still in hot pursuit.
Yesterday, he was the boy who cried wolf. I can't drive it. It's so loose, I can't drive it. You got to fix this. I can't drive it. And now, you can't catch it.
Well, you know what I think the deal is? That was in the daylight. This cat, he comes out at night.
And about 2 hours ago, he was the guy caught speeding on pit road on a green flag pit stop. Almost went a lap down like Scott Riggs, but stayed on the lead lap.
He's been working on his night moves.
Now Jeff Gordon, his teammate in the 24 car, starting to reel back in Kevin Harvick in the 29.
That's what Gordon has done on all these restarts, Larry. For about 4 or 5 laps, the thing is about to wreck. And then all of a sudden it catches hold. Here it comes.
13 to go.
And he has got time to catch Jimmy. Now, I don't know how hard Jimmy Johnson's pushing it right now. He may be sitting there saying, I'm not going to go any harder than I have to.
No need in it.
Nope.
Caution would wipe that whole lead out.
You know what's going to be kind of neat about this night? Petty Enterprises is going to go home with 2 cars in the top 10. When was the last time that happened?
In one of those cars was voted into this race.
Right.
And also by being voted in, Victor Junction gained about $250,000 more to their fund. There he is, Kyle Petty in the 45 car.
The Mike Hoke Rewards car, his other car with Bobby Labonte aboard, the Gogurt car, right now running in 6th place.
Kyle had a rough day yesterday, crashed in qualifying. Got the old backup car out. He's doing a pretty nice job for him tonight.
No practice laps for that car until he started the NEXTEL Open.
Good things happen to good people.
Here's Bobby Labonte, the 43 car, right now in the 6th position, about 4.5 seconds behind leader Jimmy Johnson. 11 to go.
Bobby Labonte, he knows how to get around Charlotte. I mean, just think about the 600 last year. Right. Jimmy Johnson beat him by half a car length.
And he very well could be a factor next week in that 600 miler.
I tell you, a night like tonight, it's a lot of good confidence for that race team.
Here's leader Jimmy Johnson, 1.2 seconds ahead of Kevin Harvick, and Jeff Gordon closing on 2nd place Harvick.
We're halfway through this final segment, 10 down, 10 to go.
Good. What's for breakfast? Because it'll be time.
I guess we'll head to the Waffle House.
I'm thinking waffle. That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Car around, Scott Riggs, turn 4, tire problem, hangs on. Whoa, that was close.
It was close. Now, Scott, again, a lap down. I'm not so sure after that one if I wouldn't just say, why don't we bring that thing on in here?
Yeah, I didn't see a tire down. I think he just lost it. He didn't hit anything. He just.
It looked like he dropped a right rear, Darrell. Take a look here.
Well, it's just what these cars have been doing, Mike. They just get, all of a sudden they snap loose.
Wow.
That's what happened to Casey Kane. We've seen a number of guys do that off turn 4 there. They just snap loose. That's why the drivers are so uneasy and uncomfortable. False security.
Right now, our top 3 cars, Jimmy Johnson, Kevin Harvick in the 29, Jeff Gordon right here in the 24. Pretty even on the stopwatch, as we'll be 7 to go this time by.
I say that's a crew chief and a driver that is working the, like, you ran this, he ran that.
Yep. And to Jimmy Johnson, when you say dead even with cars behind you, it's music to his ears.
He's got a big $1 million smile on his face.
And Jeff Gordon, you'll see, no longer closing on Kevin Harvick. He may settle for 3rd. He's about a second behind Harvick.
You know, it just wasn't that long ago that it was just a real honor to win $1 million in a season. In a season.
Now you can win it in a 90-lap race.
And life is good.
6 to go.
And the wheel goes round and round and round.
2976, 2980 behind you.
There's that music.
10-4. The only other thing better than that is you're pulling away.
Winner of the challenge in 2003 in his 5th straight appearance.
Earlier this week announced that Hendrick Motorsports, Jimmy Johnson, Lowe's Corporation, they'll be together through 2010.
And you know, the big news about tonight is, well, Jimmy Johnson won and he won $1 million. But the bigger news is going to be when somebody beats that 48 car over here, because they have just been unbeatable.
4 straight point race wins in Nextel Cup.
Watch this.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car battling Kyle Petty in the 45 for 8th position. Got loose coming off turn 4, but he was able to save it.
And last time off turn 2, Ryan Newman climbed the hill.
I think we've seen that and we've heard that so much tonight. I've got grip, I've got grip. Oh, I don't have grip.
Exactly.
Heard it from Casey Kane, who triggered the big one coming out of turn 2.
We have heard about it, and we also have seen it.
We have witnessed it. 3 to go for Jimmy Johnson, the 48 car. See Ryan Newman here in the 12 in the 5th position right now. Not a lot of pressure from behind with Bobby Labonte.
It's been 7 years since we had a repeat winner in the All-Star race. This will be 3 years since Jimmy Johnson's last win in this Nextel Challenge.
There you see as they'll come around 2 laps to go. It's Jimmy Johnson back to his teammate Jeff Gordon, the 24 car.
You know, something I didn't realize that, of course, Jeff runs awfully well here all the time, but he hadn't won a race here since I think it's 2001 is the last time Jeff Gordon won a race here.
I know he won the All-Star race that year in a backup car.
Exactly.
I'm sure all of these teams, they have learned a lot headed into the longest race of the season next week.
Well, they may have learned a lot, but they're also going to have to bring back a different car. A bunch of them are. White flag in the air for $1 million. Brings her off at turn 2, looks down that long back straightaway.
Kyle Petty in the 45 got by Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8, so Kyle moves up to the 8th position in the 45.
Puts the Petty cars 6th and 8th. The 2003 winner of the Nextel All-Star Challenge, about to give Hendrick Motorsports its 5th All-Star win. Jimmy Johnson in the Lowe Chevy wins the Nextel All-Star Challenge.
Got a big tip of the hat though to Kevin Harvick and Richard George.
All the hard work going into this. Thank you so much, boys. Thank you, thank you.
Strong second for Harvick. Jeff Gordon 3.5 seconds back. Carl Edwards, nice recovery, 4th. Ryan Newman 5th. Bobby Labonte 6th. Dale Jarrett 7th. Kyle Petty, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Scott Riggs, the top 10.
But I just think about their weekend. We've talked about all the elements. Gives us a little thumbs up there on our in-car camera. But how junked these guys were in practice. The pit road speeding penalty. He finishes 11th in the first segment. They invert 10. Overcame a lot.
Yeah, that speeding penalty I thought may have done him in, but he overcame that, and here he sits.
It's his 7th win in an Nextel Cup car at Lowe's Motor Speedway. This is his house. 5-point race wins and now 2 All-Star victories.
And that's only in about 4.5 years he's done that. Daryl, I thought it'd be a challenge with a hard tire to do a burnout. No challenge for him.
Did you see the sparks?
he's grinding them off. He's not burning them off, he's grinding them off.
There's crew chief Chad Ganaus and Darian Grubb, who won the Daytona 500 as Jimmy Johnson's crew chief.
Ooh, look at that money, boys.
A lot of commas in the top 10.
Kyle Petty, look at there, $123,000 he won. Folks donated, what, $250,000? Victory Junction gang had a big night too, boys.
Yes, they did.
And there's Bobby Labonte in the other Petty car, 100 grand. Buy him a lot of Cheerios.
And we'll be back to Lowe's Motor Speedway right after this.
Thanks for staying with us, NASCAR and FX. King of the All-Stars. Tough to improve on this home improvement in his Lowe Chevrolet. Jimmy Johnson, your winner. Good morning to those of you on the East Coast, and thanks for staying with us. It's the Sprint post-race show with Jeff Hammond, Chris Myers from the Hollywood Hotel. Jeff, you pointed out early after that wreck to watch Jimmy Johnson's car moving up, moving on. He paced himself pretty well for the finish.
This guy, I mean, Mike Joyce said it, this is Jimmy Johnson's house. I mean, this is just as simple as we can put it right now. The way everything kind of comes together with this team, they don't panic. His crew chief, Chad Knaushin, and we talked to him earlier, you know, they were going to make some adjustments. They got it like they wanted, and it really looked good.
First points leader coming into this All-Star race, not a points race, to go ahead and win the All-Star race since Dale Earnhardt, the late great, did it in 1993. Let's get out to Steve Burns at Victory Lane. Steve?
Hey, Chris, with Kevin Harvick, who finished second. And, Kevin, I heard you say, oh, this car's fast, but just not quite fast enough, I guess.
Yeah, the 48 had a great car. They just, you know, were about a half a tenth better than we were. And the only chance I had was to keep beside him there, getting into turn one and keep him pinned on the bottom. But, you know, they just kind of got hooked up there, the 48 and 24, and just kind of beat us down into turn one. And 48 cleared us, and I was able to drive back around in 24. But good night for our Jim Goodwin Chevrolet. It's still rolling, so we were 0 for 5 before this. But anytime you're that close to winning, you want to win. But Todd Berry and all the guys gave us a shot to win, put 2 tires on, car still handled good. So got a good car still at the shop, so we're ready to go.
Thanks, Kevin. Good luck next week. Let's go to Matt.
And what a huge night for Kyle Petty and Petty Enterprises. 2 cars that finished 8th or better. But the bigger picture, unofficially 124,000, your winnings from the race, but then the 250. Big night for Victory Junction.
Yeah, it really is. Like I said, Coca-Cola, what a tremendous company, what a tremendous opportunity that they gave us, and what a tremendous opportunity the fans gave me personally, but more importantly, they're the ones that raised this $400,000. When you add up what Swans and I guess Wells Fargo and Coca-Cola and Tire Kingdom, all those guys put into it, the fans are the ones that raised this money tonight. And I probably let them down a little bit. I probably should have been a little bit better, but you know that
you survived. That was the biggest
you survived. Like I told you, I said sometimes these guys get to saying it's all for the money, it's all or nothing, and they get to believe in what they say, and you end up with 8 cars running at the end of the race, and that's just the way it is. But it was a great NEXTEL Cup All-Star race, and hopefully the fans got what they wanted because Coca-Cola gave a bunch of kids what they wanted.
Definitely. Kyle Petty comes home 8th tonight. Steve?
Matt, with Jeff Gordon, and the 48 had a great race car, but you guys weren't bad either.
No, we weren't. You know, you got to have track position, and you know, we couldn't get track position early in the run because my car was so good on the long runs, but so loose to get there. And you know, we'd lose positions at the beginning of the run, so we finally tightened the car up there at the end. We got lucky. We had a flat right rear, I think a right rear tire, and we got, you know, lucky the caution came out. But the guys on the DuPont Chevrolet team, Steve Letard, all those guys did an awesome job. I mean, you know, to come home third, we had a really good race car, but there at the end, unfortunately, we had to tighten it up too much to be good on the short run, and it got too tight there at the end.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it. Let's go to Chris Myers.
All right, thanks, Steve. So the 30-year-old from El Cajon, California, it's just outside San Diego. Jimmy Johnson. Took a while for Victory Lane to be set up with the stage and all the maneuvering we've had tonight, but there's your winner. Your winner, the 2006 NASCAR NEXTEL. And Dick Berggren is with Jimmy Johnson. Dick?
We were listening to you all during practice. This was not a fast car. How did it become so fast?
A lot of hard work from Chad Knaushin and this race team. We've been working really hard to try to understand this racetrack and this tire. And, you know, even last night when we left qualifying, we still were working on the car. We weren't 100% sure what we needed or what we had, for that matter. So it's a lot of hard work from everybody at Hendrick Motorsports. I can't say enough for this Lowe's Monte Carlo. Tonight I had some adversity I had to overcome coming to pit road, speeding. The inversion didn't work out. I thought I was in the perfect position. That didn't work, and then still came back and won the thing.
When did you figure you had a chance with all the things that were going wrong? When did you figure you had a shot at this?
As soon as I knew I was still on the lead lap after my pass through on pit road, then I knew I still had a shot. I really felt like I was going to catch the inversion right. It didn't work out. I'm sitting here trying to think about this racetrack and what happens here at Lowe's Motor Speedway, and I don't know what it is, but when the money's on the line, this race team steps up and we get it done.
He's $1 million richer, and he hung on to this car no matter how sideways it was, Chris.
You know, it reminds you of Jeff Gordon coming up big when the money's big, part of Hendrick Motorsports, two of the top 3 finishing cars at the All-Star Challenge here that is now into Sunday morning on the East Coast. We'll continue from Lowe's Motor Speedway on FX in a moment. For those of you on the East Coast, coming up on FX, Rescue Me, and on the West Coast, the movie Broken Arrow. Jeff Gordon, part of Hendrick Motorsports, talking to Chad Knaus, the crew chief for Jimmy Johnson, your winner. Kevin Harvick second, Gordon third, then Carl Edwards, Ryan Newman rounding things out. As Jimmy Johnson continues to celebrate, as we'll get back, Mike, Larry, and Darrell to points racing next weekend in the Coke 600. This was fun tonight, worth waiting for.
Well, if you're going to win the Coke 600, Chris, you're going to have to beat Jimmy Johnson and Hendrick Motorsports, and that's a continuing story here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. A great night for Petty Enterprises. Bobby Labonte and Kyle both top 10. But, Darrell, the scary thing for me is drivers that have control of their car and suddenly don't.
Yeah, they just lose it. They lose grip, and that's the thing I heard constantly from the drivers was, I'm driving, I'm comfortable, whoops, and around they go. We saw that with Casey Kane. We saw the number of guys, and I don't know what you do about that.
Larry, even the best feedback in the world from driver to crew chief can't handle, and I don't have it.
No, because there was a lot of guys, I think, that were happy with their race car, like Casey Kane. But I know the one thing that I learned tonight, I talked to Chad Knaus earlier today. A lot of these teams were out here, all of these teams were out here testing with 2 cars the last couple of weeks, getting ready for this race. Chad Knaus said they only brought 1 car. They focused for 2 days and nights on this car because they were trying to learn some things. Looks like it paid off, and I'm sure they feel like they can carry this on into next week in that 400-lap, 600-mile race.
And I tell you the other thing, too. I mean, you think about next week being the 600 in points. Jimmy Johnson is going into next week smooth sailing. Right. His competitors, Tony Stewart, Matt Kenseth, Greg Biffle, guys that are challengers to that championship, they all had trouble tonight. They got to overcome that now.
He is the points leader.
Yes. And, Chris, there's going to be a lot of head shaking going on tomorrow about how that 48 car could be so undrivable yesterday and be $1 million winner tonight.
Thanks, guys. And it'll be a storyline during the week and one that we'll look into next weekend, Memorial Day weekend on Fox. And then following that, it's off to Dover and Pocono. Those are the next 3 races. The Dover race on FX, the other 2 on Fox. And let's talk a little bit about Jimmy Johnson's success. And as we look back towards points racing, he's had good runs the last few years points-wise, but that championship is something that has eluded him.
But I think right now what we're looking at, Chris, is a smarter team than we've ever seen before. I think whenever they lost Chad Knaus, that team rallied around everyone. I mean, they pulled together and made them stronger overall. And I think Jimmy Johnson's a lot more composed. We listened to Chad Knaus coach him through a couple of tough situations tonight. And that's what you want when you're trying to be a championship contender. Watch out for him.
Yeah, he's shown he's an all-star, and it's a long haul of the season. But certainly when you listen to him talk and you think about the things that he's been through, he's ready for this. And we'll be anxious next week with Chad Knaus and Jimmy Johnson teaming up. They've been dominating Lowe's Motor Speedway. We hope you'll be with us next Thursday. NEXTEL Cup qualifying on speed. Busch Series qualifying on speed as well. That's at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 Pacific. NEXTEL Cup practice on Saturday on FX. Practice continuing in the CarQuest Auto Parts 300. That's at 7:30 Eastern. On Sunday, start your morning from the track with speed as always. And the Coca-Cola 600, 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific. We thank you for watching and get well to Don Bowie, who is one of our feature producers recovering from surgery, watching back in L.A. Broadcast associate Zach Fields will be married tomorrow. Congratulations, his future bride, Erica. We wish him the best and want you to come back to work with us soon. For Jeff Hammond, I'm Chris Myers, our entire crew. Thanks for watching NASCAR on FX.